Now then, Tom is going to be, well, freezing his bits off this morning.
Ice, ice, baby.
We always like a tune. And come on, this is good. He's going to be finding out about something called cryotherapy. Basically, sitting in a freezer, and there is some science thrown in. Tom, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right about it, actually. I should just say, when I told Jo, my wife, that I was going to be doing this today, she was actually quite jealous because we met while running, and it's something that I think a lot of athletes, an awful lot of people would be interested in trying. What's that beeping noise? Something's beeping. Never mind. Listen, cryotherapy, Annabelle, for those who don't know it, is using low temperatures to help people recover from exercise. So if you remember the pictures of Andy Murray holding the Wimbledon trophy, standing in a wheelie bin full of ice and water, well, that's along similar lines. It helps with muscle recovery and things like that. And there's a study going on at Moulton College on the outskirts of Northampton to look at how cryotherapy can help you to recover from fatigue. Now, when you say cold, we are talking extreme cold. Adnan Haque is the man leading the research, and he's joined me this morning. Good morning.
Hi, Tom. Nice to meet you. You all right?
And you. First of all, how cold is a cryotherapy chamber?
Well, this one in particular can be as cold as minus 140 Celsius, I believe.
Sorry, minus 140?
That's correct, yeah, minus 140 Celsius. But in my study, it's a slightly more balmy, minus 120 Celsius.
Oh, wow.
But it's still cold in the coldest place on Earth.
Break out the parasols.
That's it, yeah. It's still cold enough.
How is it that you don't die when you're exposed to something that cold?
Well, we do have safety procedures in place so that the participants are not in there for much longer than 3 minutes. 3 minutes is pretty much the limit at which they can tolerate, and that's been shown to have reported benefits. Significantly longer than that, I wouldn't want to try out.
No, of course not. But I suppose when you see things about people undertaking treks across the Antarctic, they're wearing 58 layers and a massive coat and all of this stuff. And then I've seen the pictures of people that take part in cryotherapy, and they basically go in here in their pants. So is it a different kind of cold?
It is. It's not. There's no moisture there. It's dry cold. When people go inside, it just feels different to what the kind of cold that they're used to. If they're used to really cold, whether it's beasts from the east or really cold winter holidays, it's just not quite the same thing. But 3 minutes in there, it does feel like, especially the last minute, does feel like quite a long time. I think we encourage them to just think of happy thoughts, just move around and jump around.
Well, when I go in about an hour's time, you're going to be coming in with me, aren't you? So it's not like I'm the guinea pig. You've been through it yourself. Yeah,
I've done it myself a couple of times. I've taken part in other cryotherapy studies, for example. I kind of know what to expect, but maybe that's a comforting thing for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. This is part of a wider study that you're doing, which you're telling me about 50 people help you with. What are you trying to achieve with the study? What understanding are you trying to get?
Well, I'm running a series of studies, hoping to address the overall question as to whether or not it's beneficial for sports recovery. And I'm looking at it from a sports recovery angle, because even though cryotherapy has had other applications, for example, like dealing with joint disorders or that sort of thing, well-being, I'm looking to see if it benefits recovery after doing exercise where you experience significant tiredness, soreness, muscle damage, that sort of thing. And I'm running a series of studies addressing different variables. For example, looking at impact of body composition, impact of a time of a treatment, that sort of thing. So it's different. There's different objectives. Right now, I'm roughly about just a little more than halfway through my first of 3 main studies. So in each study, there's different participants I'm recruiting, so it's an ongoing recurring thing.
Okay. Now, when we go in, there's piles of stuff behind you. Are those clogs?
That's right. Yeah.
Why do I have to wear clogs? They're the kind of thing that you see doctors wearing on hospital wards.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just, I think a lot of these things are to...
So your feet don't freeze to the floor, maybe?
Pretty much, yeah. And
okay.
maybe just to look cool as well, you know.
Okay, well, yeah.
It looks a bit more appealing than just going in barefooted, so...
Okay. Right, Annabelle, I think the time has come. And obviously, cooling things down to a minus 120 does take a little while. So Charlotte, who runs the centre, has just switched it on. Is that now on?
Not quite. I've just got to go through a small process, and then it will be on. It won't take me 2 minutes, but...
it does have to quickly load. So
Okay, that's fine. So, I mean, to describe it, Annabelle, there are two absolutely huge glazed doors, and they're about, oh goodness, maybe like 11 or 12 inches thick. They're padded, and then inside are a couple of chambers about 7 feet tall. They've now switched on. Can you hear that running?
I can. So how long was the form that you had to fill in before you got the go-ahead to go in here, Tom?
Oh, yeah, so obviously, BBC want you to risk assess using a vending machine, and it's enough to make you want to stick your head in an oven. But actually, on this occasion, I did do the risk assessment form diligently because it seemed important. So, yeah, I'd say probably about 12 sides of A4.
And one of the other things I wanted to say was...
Yes.
You have to be very dry, don't you, to go in? You can't be wet in any way.
Because that would be bad.
And you have spoken on this programme before about how you are quite a sweater, aren't you?
Yeah.
And to the point that you even get sweaty ears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the thought had crossed my mind. I think ultimately... I think I'm just going to make sure that I towel down very effectively. I think that's probably a safe course of action.
Because you've got quite a bushy eyebrow.
You are full of compliments today,
aren't you? No, I'm just saying that you could get some
hairy,
moisture.
I'm sweaty.
Get some moisture in there. You want to be careful.
Go away now, Annabelle.
Tom, we'll be back with you later. I can't wait for this.
On FM.
Now, for a man who hates musicals, the things he does just, lend themselves to song, really.
Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
The cold never bothered her anyway. Will it bother Tom? All will be revealed because Tom is doing something rather bizarre this morning. You're about to get very cold, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, the cold might not have bothered Princess Elsa, but in fairness, I don't think she was exposed to minus 120 degrees, Annabelle.
Wow.
Which is what I'm going to go through. Welcome to Moulton College. They have a thing called cryotherapy here. And if you're familiar with sports people taking ice baths, whether they've, pictured holding their Olympic gold medal or their Wimbledon trophy or whatever, it's a similar principle, the idea that extreme cold can aid muscle recovery. We spoke to Adnan Haq. He's an academic here at Moulton. He's writing his PhD on the subject and doing a series of studies looking at how the cryotherapy chamber here aids recovery. One of his volunteers has come in literally as the kind of the white kind of billowing cold caused by the liquid nitrogen rattles around in the main chamber, which I can tell you, Annabelle, is currently at minus 28 and dropping very quickly. Russ Dickerson is one of Adnan's volunteers, Russ, participants.
Victims is the word I'd use, yeah.
Yeah, you got in there before me.
Yes, absolutely.
Other than being a glutton for punishment, why did you sign up?
I think I've always had an interest in, recently, over the recent years, had an interest in sport, and I think anything I can do to help people understand the benefits of various things, I'm always up for that. Because
you came to running about 10 years ago, you were saying, so along with that comes an interest in how the body recovers. If anyone, I've done a bit of running, if you've had a heavy race or a heavy session and you feel it in the legs the next day.
Absolutely, and I think this is the third one I've been involved with. So I've helped other people in previous years with studies, both here at University of Northampton, Coventry, and then with Adnan. So yeah, I think it's something. It's the little things, isn't it? And I learned something, and society hopefully learns something.
What has been involved in Adnan's study? I'm guessing in order to measure its effectiveness, you need first to be fatigued. So what has he put you through?
So I've participated in 3 of his studies now. So the first one involved a lot of blood tests. So he's had a lot of practice at stabbing myself and other participants. The second one was looking at muscle fatigue, and so doing various exercises, and some of which I'd never done before. To measure muscle strength and what would happen there. And then the final study, the main study he's been doing, which was looking at doing a downhill run for 30 minutes, which sounds relatively straightforward. It's not that long, but actually it's really tough. Struggled to walk around stairs the following day.
So you're kind of at work, struggling to move around?
Just a little bit,
Did you get ribbed by your colleagues?
No, because they're kind of used to me I do quite a bit of running before work, but and they're kind of used to me hobbling around in one way or another.
Wearing lycra, looking tired?
I try to avoid wearing lycra in the
Do
office.
you?
Definitely. It's not a good look.
It's probably wise.
Yeah.
My wife actually said to me, she said, when you go there tomorrow and you wear shorts, I said, yeah. She said, for goodness sake, do not wear your running shorts. So I'm wearing different shorts. Everyone will be pleased to know.
I think thick shorts on this is a good move. It is quite chilly in there.
Yeah, mine are more billowy.
Probably not so good because billowy means air circulation and it's very cold air.
Oh, marvellous. I'm loving this. Just a quick update. Annabelle main chamber is at minus 63 and continuing to drop, minus 64. Feeling good about the world. The only place I could find, Russ, that was as cold as this chamber is the Boomerang Nebula in the constellation Centaurus.
Really? I had never
It's
heard of
outer
that.
space, basically.
I guessed. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Are you going to pop there afterwards just to do a comparison?
Just measure the two together. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because there's nowhere on Earth that's as cold as this.
No. It's really quite something.
What's it feel like to be in there? What am I letting myself in for?
Actually, if I'm really honest, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Because it's dry, it doesn't feel that bad. I've been in there, luckily enough, 3 times now. And I think you have that gradual sort of creeping sensation of cold up the back of your legs towards the end of the time you'll spend in the colder section.
Excellent. Well, I can no longer see into the colder section because the enormous glass door, Annabelle, has now, well, to use the words that my mum would have used, hoofed up. It's, minus 75 now. So, hey, only another, 45 degrees below zero to go. Brilliant.
Tom, if I moved, if I kind of got a bit of space in my freezer, moved the fish fingers out the way and got in there, how cold would that be?
I think a domestic freezer can be about minus 20.
Okay.
About that. So we're talking 6 times colder than a domestic freezer. That's me.
You needed to have done some exercise last night to really make this better. Did you go for a run?
No, I didn't.
Tom.
I got home and I looked at my trainers and I looked at my bed. Guess which one won?
Yes, every single time. Tom, we're looking forward to this. Thank you very much. Well done. You're doing it, so we don't have to. Whatever your thoughts on whatever you are hearing on Brexit, I think one thing we can agree with Michael Ellis there is that we don't want another 2 years of this, do we? I think we'll all be dead, won't we?
You're as cold as ice. You know that you are.
Let's head back to Tom, shall we? Because he's probably got the best place to be this morning. Tom is at Moulton College. He is going to be taking part in cryotherapy. Tom, one of the more weird things that's been happening this morning is people have been suggesting people they'd like to go in with you into the cryo chamber.
Who have I got?
I'm not going to run through them. I think that would be unfair.
Okay, that's charming. Thank you. If I sound a bit muffled, it's because I'm wearing... You know when you watch Changing Rooms and someone's building something out of MDF and wearing one of those masks over their face? Well, I'm wearing one. Apparently that's an essential part of the safety gear, as are the kind of rubber clogs that you see nurses wearing in hospitals, some fresh socks, some white... You know those tubey grip things they put on your arm before they put a plaster cast on it? Yeah. I've got those over my knees and elbows, an old pair of shorts, 2 pairs of gloves, a headband to cover my ears, and no T-shirt. That is what I am currently wearing. There's a picture on Twitter of it, so go and have a look, because let's face it, ritual humiliation of me and of the Prime Minister is what we're all in the market for, isn't it? Right, we're going to go in. So basically there are 2 chambers. Adnan, quick reminder, Adnan Hackman leading the study. 2 chambers, one cold, second colder than the first. How long in each one?
30 seconds the first one, and then 2.5 minutes in the second one.
Okay, and when we say they're cold, Annabelle, the first chamber is minus 49. The main chamber is bubbling along merrily at minus 120. Wow. So we're going to go in. Charlotte from Moulton College is holding my gear. I'm just training cables in, so I'm going to try and continue to talk to you while we're inside, okay?
Okay, yeah, good luck.
Count me down.
Oh, I've just seen the photo. Sorry.
Okay, we're going in.
I just
we're
need
going
to get
in.
over that. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're in the first chamber. This feels like this is significantly colder than the chest freezer at Burger King in Thrapston when I worked there. It's really, really cold. There's a fan blowing a kind of greyish smoke. That's powered by the liquid nitrogen. That's now billowing. I'm just going to use words. It's billowing around my thighs, Annabelle. It's quite uncomfortable. Russ Dickerson, the volunteer who's helping Adnan with his study, you've been in here a number of times.
Yep.
Does memory help?
Definitely not. I think. Oh, yeah.
Oh wow, we're going into the colder chamber now, Annabelle. Oh wow, this is really cold. I can barely even see. Russ,
Yes.
how are you feeling?
I'm starting to cool down somewhat.
Yeah. Annabelle, this is the colder of the two chambers. So Adnan, this is minus 120.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, I can barely. You guys are about 7 or 8 inches from my face. Like, you're near enough I could almost kiss you. I can barely see you through the mist. There is like a thick fog, Annabelle, punctuated by very bright LED lights. Oh man, it's lucky I'm talking, because otherwise my memory would just focus on how cold I am. Adnan, what benefit is this meant to be having for my muscles?
Well, right now the brain's experiencing shock mode. It's sensing that your body is facing a real threat to survival, and essentially the body's reacting by constricting the blood vessels, major vasoconstriction, so all the blood in our bodies is pulling into our core, and right now we're obviously shivering.
It feels like my arms and legs are tightening. That's the only way I can describe it. It feels like my body is shrinking.
Yeah, well, you said about 30 seconds ago that we're close enough to kiss. So it might be a good idea right now to keep the body warm, share the body warmth, you know.
The air around my thighs. Russ, how are you feeling?
Cool. I would definitely say very chilly. You can feel it running up the back of your legs, your calves.
Why did you volunteer for this?
It seemed like a good idea at the time when I stand here.
This is you were taking part. Scientific breakthroughs rely on human sacrifice, don't they?
Indeed.
Okay.
And, it's times like this where you think, "What am I doing here?" But it's good to help other people. I always think.
So Annabelle, sit rep on how I'm feeling. The mask is definitely helping with the breathing. All I can say is, like, my elbows and my knees in particular feel like blocks of ice. My feet, I can still feel my feet, but they're somehow not really connected to my body. And I feel like I'm about half the size that I was a minute ago. This also feels like the longest 2.5 minutes I think I've ever experienced. But
have your eyelashes frozen over?
No, not yet. But do you know what? I would still rather be in here than reporting from Westminster today. How's that?
How long have we got left?
I wish I could. It's just you lose your perception of time when you're in here. I've got no idea. Oh, there we go.
That's it.
Oh, there we go.
That's the alarm. We can come out. Oh my word.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. We're outside, and when they open the door, the smoke billows out, a bit like from the DeLorean in Back to the Future. Oh my word.
How are you feeling?
That was utterly unlike anything I have ever experienced. It's now that I've come out that I'm actually starting to shiver. And the room that felt really quite cold from the air conditioning before we went in now feels like opening the door to a plane in Cairo or something. Russ, how are you feeling?
Pretty good now. It's as
awake.
Awake, definitely awake, and yeah, as you said, it's a lot warmer out here from earlier on where it's cooled down.
Yeah,
it's loads warmer.
Wow. Okay, listen, Annabelle, come back to us in about half an hour. The good news for our engineer Isaac is that didn't break our equipment either.
Amazing.
So everyone's a winner.
Okay, Tom, I'm trying to unsee the photo that you've put online at BBC Northampton. I'm struggling with that at the moment, but we'll be back with you later.
On FM.
Sort, whatever it is. Maybe he went into the cryo chamber as well, Gary.
Freeze! Rock! Freeze! Rock! Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
This is Tom's signature tune for the morning.
Your mother.
I have just seen on social media, on at BBC Northampton on Twitter, the video of Tom going into the cryo chamber and coming out of the cryo chamber. And, well, I might just keep watching it because, Tom, you've achieved something this morning. Wow, that looks cold.
It was overwhelming. It was. I'm struggling to find words in the English language to describe how it felt. All I say, I mean, when I came out, the first thing I noticed was that all of the connections, the box of tricks I used to broadcast, I should just say, you can carry in one hand, and it's a bit like a glorified mobile phone. Charlotte, who's one of the managers of the centre at Moulton College that we're in this morning, held that outside of the chamber, and then I trailed some extension leads in as we went in. And when I came out, all of those leads were covered in frost. They were almost kind of semi-rigid. Those Croc shoes that I was wearing were like bricks. They were rock solid. It was, Adnan Hack, the researcher who's doing his PhD on this subject, you said you hadn't been in there for a while. Did you ever get used to it, though?
Well, I kind of knew what to expect because I have been in there twice before doing someone else's study. But it does, even so, it still felt a little surreal going in myself because I'm used to doing it to my participants the whole time. So it was a bit different to experience it firsthand.
Yeah.
A bit fresh, excuse the pun.
Do you find that there are benefits to a cryo chamber and to cryotherapy apart from exercise?
What, me personally, or from what I've...
From the research that you've done, and yeah.
Well, yeah, I think some of the participants I've had before have reported that they felt really relaxed afterwards. They've reported having a good night's sleep and just generally being more relaxed, really. And I think that that does support the physiological effects. The support really does what's going on once you leave that extreme environment. It does have other benefits outside of sport.
And how is it that it aids recovery from exercise? What is it that's going on in my body that will help me recover faster?
Well, there's so many different things going on. When you go inside that extreme environment, your body senses the extreme environment as like it's a threat to survival, and it acts accordingly by constricting blood vessels. Your blood then rushes to your core. When you come out of the chamber, the opposite happens. So the blood then rushes towards your skin surface, and that acts to rejuvenate your systems by reoxygenating your systems. Helps with, increase blood flow throughout your body, and your body then has what's called a parasympathetic effect, where it just basically sort of quiets down, relaxes. But other things as well, like immune activation. If you've had previous exercise, and your muscles will then start to repair, and the metabolism of the muscles reduce as well. Skin temperature drops, which helps with the pain. So there's lots of different things going on, and you just generally feel more relaxed, really. I mean,
I would say I feel wide awake now. I've got a 1-year-old daughter who's teething, so I haven't been getting a great deal of sleep. I feel, ready to start the day. I don't need my morning coffee this morning.
Yeah. That's absolutely. It does. A lot of studies have shown that having this treatment in the middle of the day can help athletes to train twice a day. So, like, if they train in the morning and do a cryotherapy treatment, they can carry on with their next session or whatnot after that. So, lots of team sports players or athletes have used it for that kind of application, for that rapid recovery.
Yeah,
you are able to just
go again.
Yeah, exactly. And like with an ice bath, because it's the water is more sort of, it penetrates the skin, and your muscles then sort of freeze for quite a few hours, and that's what it feels like, at least anyway. So you're not able to get the same effects.
Your PhD that this is part of, when will you finish?
I'm anticipating to finish summer 2021. So,
wow.
Still 2.5 years ago. So
and still a need for volunteers. So it's men over the age of 18 that you're wanting to hear from.
That's correct. Yeah. So basically, any guy over 18 who's reasonably fit and healthy, they don't have to be fitness fanatics or extreme athletes, but anyone really who's capable of running for a bit and wants to experience some new temperatures. That's what I'm looking for. Currently, I'm sort of trying to wrap up my first main study, but there'll be a cohort of participants for the next study, and it's an ongoing thing for several months.
And how can they contact you?
They can get hold of me by email. So I'm based at Moulton College. My email address is adnan.hack@moulton.ac.uk. Alternatively, my poster is out on social media. You can get hold of me that way. I'm also on Twitter as well.
And if people search online for Moulton College Cryotherapy, they'll find out about the chamber, and they can probably find you that way as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I've tried to use a variety. I've sort of lost track, to be honest, of what revenues I've used to try and recruit participants. But I've approached university, Moulton College, and the marketing, put my poster out on social media, and contact different sports clubs. I'm not hard to find.
Not shy. Adnan, thank you so much for this morning. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Cheers, Annabelle. The chamber's just warming up now because they've switched it off. Obviously,
you're sounding like you're going a bit hoarse.
there are balls of, I mean, it almost looks like dry ice, but like frost on the carpet inside. And the chamber is now a balmy minus 32 as it slowly warms back up again. It was minus 120 Celsius when I went in there earlier. That's colder than any recorded temperature on Earth ever. You'd need to go into outer space.
For people who've suggested that we've been a bit cruel sending you in there, I can tell that you've actually quite enjoyed it, haven't you?
Yeah, and do you know what? It wasn't an unpleasant experience. It was just very intense. A real kind of assault on the senses is how I would describe it. Go to at BBC Northampton and you can see some of the aftermath. And if you're a bloke aged over 18 and you want to give it a try, then email adnan.hack, that's HAQ, at moulton.ac.uk.
The photo that you've put on social media at BBC Northampton, I mean, it's quite something. As Graham said earlier, it's quite brave.
Yeah.
You didn't wear goggles, though.
No, you don't have to wear goggles. Although
Right.
I did feel the moisture in my eyes going very cold.
Well, that's what I would have thought.
Yeah, well, don't worry, my eyes didn't freeze shut or anything. That was all fine. And look, I mean, I'm sorry to anyone who's eating their breakfast who had to see a picture of me with no top on. Yeah. I apologise. I think Graham is just covering up for the fact that he wishes he looked as good as me, but that's okay.
Exactly. Oh, if only you had confidence, Tom. That's what you need. Lovely. Thank you very much. That was fun. And wow, what a great study. Cryotherapy.